they can't do nothing with. Because if they put all these drugs in our community, suppose we are a people who don't take drugs, they can't use that, can they? And so the lifestyle that you guys are leading is a lifestyle that's conducive to paradise, but it's also a lifestyle that's conducive to struggle, And so what Islam meant for us and for me was that we have to go to a higher level of struggle. We have to change the way that we think. We can't imitate what we think we're fighting against. We can't worship what we think we're actually fighting against. And Islam, for me, meant true, bona fide, genuine revolution. It was revolutionary. Because it was based on spiritual concepts that were non-Western. Spiritual concepts that were non-Western. And let me come to a close on this. I had another very interesting experience right before I became Muslim. I became Muslim in 81. The Islamic Revolution in Iran happened in 1979. I was affected by the revolution in Iran. I was affected by the revolution in Iran. I was affected by some of the leaders in the revolution in Iran. Because some of you may not remember, but in 1979, all the MSUs and MSAs, they was run by Persians. They were run by Iranians. They were run by Iranians. Every MSA in this country in the late 70s was run by Iranians. Do you know why? Because the Iranians were so active, and they were so political, and they were so fearless. And so when we were black nationalists, we was cool with the Iranians because they was crazy like us. And so they would be doing their thing on campus, we'd be doing our thing on campus, and even as a non-Muslim, we dug Imam Khomeini. We liked him. As a non-Muslim, we liked him. Because he called America the great Satan. That's for one thing, you know. You know what I'm saying? We said he got to be cool, right? And then he was a Muslim, right? And, you know, black folks and Muslims. So as nationalists, as black nationalists, who were not Muslims, we were influenced by the Islamic Revolution in Iran. And let me tell you what I saw. What I saw was you were either in the sphere of Russia, the Soviet Union, or the United States. Those spheres. So in the newspaper, they would say pro-Soviet, blah, 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 right? Pro-U.S., da, 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 da. Or pro-Cuban sometimes, da, 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 right? But mostly pro-Soviet and pro-U.S., right? One of the things I noticed, that when the revolution went down in Iran, the United States and the Soviet Union came together to fight against Iran. And I noticed that. And I'm saying, how that is, whoa. They supposed to be enemies. They supposed to be enemies. What the KGB and the CIA doing, coming together, sharing information, and giving that information to Saddam Hussein to attack Iran? What's going on here? Because that's truly non-aligned. When they would deal with Gaddafi, they would just slap Gaddafi upside the head. The Russians told Gaddafi, shut up. Because Gaddafi was doing stuff to America, just saying stuff. The Soviet Union told Gaddafi, shut up. And Gaddafi shut up. Ronald Reagan used to announce when they would kill leaders. Back in the 60s, they did it on the unders. Ronald Reagan would come out and say, we are sending planes to Libya to kill Gaddafi. Ronald Reagan wasn't hiding. And I saw how they were dealing with Gaddafi. But then I saw how they were dealing with Imam Khomeini. They wasn't coming like that. There was a respect that they had for him. There was a respect that they had. I'm checking all this out as a non-Muslim. And so I'm seeing actually non-aligned. I'm seeing a non-aligned movement for real. I'm seeing the Soviet Union and the United States coming at Muslims. And I'm seeing, that's why Malcolm didn't like the Soviet Union. That's why Che didn't like the Soviet Union. Because they're two sides of the same coin. You believe in capitalism, a doctrine or belief based on capital, wealth, and you believe in dialectical materialism. Y'all both believe in materialism. Y'all ain't opposites. And you got a chance to see that they were not opposites, that they were on the same team when the Islamic Revolution occurred. I was looking at that when I wasn't a Muslim. And so all these things combined, I become Muslim, and another thing happened. I was looking at Islam as something for your morals and your character. That's all I was seeing Islam as. That's it. Your morals and your character. Struggle. But then, people like Imam Musa was turning me on to different writings. And I was looking at different books. And I was looking at stuff like the Islamic political system. Islamic political system. The Islamic economic system. The Islamic economic. Now I'm thinking Islam is just like morals, like, clean up your morals, tazkiyah, purification. But I'm seeing books on the Islamic political system, the Islamic economic system, the Islamic social system. What is that? And so now I realize that, no, this Islam was way, 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 way more than I thought it was. I thought it was just a program of conditioning for your morals. It was actually, it wasn't just that. This Islam was also like a way of life to the point that you could build a civilization with it. You could build a nation with it. You could build an economy with it. So now I'm thinking like, building an economy based on divine law? Building a political system based on divine law? And that opened up another world. And so I'm checking all this stuff out. And alhamdulillah, the School of Ethnic Studies in 1982-83 became an actual school. It's the only school of ethnic studies in the country at San Francisco State University. There's no other like it. Not even at UC Irvine. And they have a dean. And then once that project was kind of like while it was done, we decided to take over the student government. And we were the campus militants. The President Romberg, gave instructions to his dean of students, do not let them take over the student government. Because it was tried in 1974, and the black nationalists who took it over, the university froze their budget. They froze it. They went the whole year without a budget for the Associated Students. A whole year without a budget. Because they said, you're going to give guns to the Black Panthers. No money. So that dean of students was an Uncle Tom poop butt Negro. And he was told to make sure that we did not take over the student government. And so the crew felt that I was the one who should have ran for president. And so I ran for president, and we had a whole crew with us. And that's when everybody knew that I had become a Muslim. That's when it became like, no, that I'd become a Muslim. During interviews I would wear kifayas and kufis. And I would talk to them about Islam. And at the inauguration, I wore a Palestinian kufaya with a kufi. And they put in the campus newspaper, regime. He's beginning his regime. That kind of thing, right? And so we took over the student government. And one of the things that we did was we issued emergency student loans interest-free. Dressed up in Islamic State. Now, I was a baby Muslim. I didn't know jack. I didn't know too much. But I knew, though, that interest was against the law in Islam. And so we had interest-free loans. And we told the university, we're going to allot you some money. The financial aid office, we're going to allot you some money. Any student who's in a bind and they need an emergency loan, you will give them an emergency loan, $250, and it's interest-free. They are not to charge. So when you take the money out of their financial aid that they have coming, you only take $250. You do not charge them any interest. And the university was kind of intimidated that we had taken over the student government, because you know how they be thinking of crazy stuff. So they was all intimidated, and so the university did it. They did it. They distributed interest-free student loans and so on and so forth. But Islam has just been that to where, for me, it's everything. It's everything. And then after having left San Francisco State, because of course it was time to leave, and we got busy. We got busy. That's why y'all got to get busy. Angela Davis. I don't know if y'all know Angela Davis. She's a Black Panther, and she was serious back in the 60s. Big fro. Angela Davis. Yeah. She was teaching in San Francisco State. She was teaching there, and so I was interacting with a lot of people. I interacted with